Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. Today we're going to be talking about 10 potential players that the Knicks could sign this offseason. Actually, let's go with 9 because one of these I just don't see very realistic. You guys know I'm going to keep it a buck with you, bro. I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. I'm not going to start dropping a bunch of rumor videos for clicks. I'm only going to give you guys players that I think realistically the Knicks could sign and players that I also would like. So we'll go with 9 in this one. But overall, before I even get into that, let me say this. Isaiah Hartenstein, OG Anunoby, and Bojan Bogdanovic, I would love to see all three of these guys return. If the Knicks had been healthy this postseason, I'm not saying we would have beat Boston because Boston won, 64 games. They were top 5 in offense and defense. But I do think we take them to 7 games. I do think that would have been the NBA Finals. I think we're a better team healthy than the Mavericks. Not to discredit them, but the Knicks, we saw when they had OG, Randle, Brunson, they didn't even have Mitch, so they weren't even fully healthy, but they were blowing out contenders. Philly, Minnesota, Denver. I mean, the Knicks were absolutely electric. They had the #1 ranked defense in the league. They were scoring the lights out of the ball. They only lost 2 games in the month of January, the second best record in Knicks franchise history in a single month. And then OG and Randall both got hurt. Everything went downhill quickly. But the Knicks went to a 7th game with Indiana. Indiana was the 2nd ranked offense in the regular season. They were bad defensively. They couldn't rebound. We took them to 7 games. It's something to be proud of. As Jalen Brunson said, it was not a successful season because we didn't win a championship. But from a very optimistic Knicks fan, it's hard for me to say that this season was not something to be excited about at the very least because, man, I'm just watching these highlights right here. Dante knocking down a 3. He got hot quick. And Brunson right here with Nembhard on him rising up. This was an awesome game. I mean, all these games were just... not all of them were competitive because they blew us out in a few of them. But, I mean, yeah, this 3 right here for the win, Dante. Like, just moments like that are why we're Knicks fans. We've been waiting... So for me, at least, my entire life for the Knicks to be good. I don't know how old you guys are, but this was the best season that I have ever seen the Knicks play. I've only been a fan of the Knicks since about 2009, 2010, so it hasn't been that long. But this was, without question, better than the 2013 season. I mean, we had a chance. We had such a massive opportunity to go out there, but guys just kept dropping. Like, we lost Bojan, we lost Mitch. Obviously, we lost Randall. OG, we lost him. And, yeah, that would be our demise. But in this video, we're going to talk about how the Knicks can win a championship next season, put themselves in the best situation possible. And to me, it starts off with Julius Randle. I wanted to trade Julius Randle coming into this season. I was one of the many Knicks fans saying, I'm done with Julius Randle. Literally, after we lost to the Heat, I made a video saying, I'm done with Julius Randle. Get this guy off of my basketball team. But that was not a good take. Randle was not playing healthy. I get he struggled against Atlanta as well. But Randle showed that this season he was a different version of himself. We never got to see him in the playoffs because, again, he got injured. But look at November, early November to when Randle got hurt, which was in January. The guy was averaging 25, 9, and 5 on 50% from the field. And even if you don't like Julius Randle, which I don't know how you could, and he's a great guy, but even if you don't like him as a player, he still opens up opportunities for everyone else, especially Jalen Brunson. Go watch Randle and Brunson play again. I mean, not that you guys are going to forget, but just go back and completely refresh your memory and look at how many open looks Brunson gets with Randle out there. I mean, how often do you see Jalen Brunson spotting up and catching and shooting a 3 ball? I mean, it happens, but it's very rare. And I'm talking about being wide open. It's extremely rare. It just simply doesn't happen. But with Randle, you see it a good amount. And that's something that Brunson needs. He needs sort of a Batman. And I was reading an article a couple of days ago, and it was saying that Julius Randle will not be a Batman, or Robin, sorry, I'm an idiot. Robin to Brunson's Batman, which means obviously that Brunson's going to be the #1, and Randle's going to be the #2. There's people that think Randle could be a good #3. I think Julius Randle could be a #2 on a championship team, assuming that we get the Randle of the regular season. Now, if Randle elevates his game, then, oh my goodness, that would be about as good as a #2 as it gets. But even if he just gives you 25 and 9 in the playoffs, 23 and 8 even, 23 and 7, like on decent splits, good splits, then I think that's going to be enough because the Knicks, they're no longer that Knicks team that we saw in 2023 where it was Jalen Brunson. It was really just Jalen Brunson. RJ Barrett, I thought, showed a couple of flashes throughout that series, but not consistently. But, you know, you got OG now, you've got Dante. Josh Hart completely took his game to a different level. And then, of course, you got Hartenstein took his game to a different level. Miles McBride took his game to a different level, even though in Game 7 he struggled. But that's the thing, is the Knicks' current roster, assuming that they bring back OG and Hartenstein, even if they lose Bojan, I don't think that would be the end of the world. But as long as they bring back those two main guys in the starting lineup, then they end up probably trading Mitch maybe or something like that. But I think we'll be fine. But we still do need probably one or two more pieces, and that's why I came up with a list for you guys of about 9 players, and let's talk about them. So starting off with the player that I would want the most on my list, I would say it would be Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal has knocked down 37 to 39% of his threes for 6 consecutive seasons. He's also a physical wing. We definitely do need a wing. Again, assuming OG and Hartenstein are back, because if you go ahead, you take a look at the Knicks depth chart, at guard, they're fine. Jalen Brunson and Miles McBride. Now, the one thing about McBride is he can't run an offense. He can defend and he can knock down shots off the dribble, or he can knock down shots spotting up, but he's not going to be able to facilitate an offense. So we could, I guess, technically add another guard that can play make. But the biggest thing we need is sort of another wing. Because at guard, like Alec Burks is an unrestricted free agent. He's probably going to leave and get more money, but okay, well now we've got Brunson, Dante, and McBride. I don't think that's a weakness at all. And then you look at the wings, Josh Hart and OG. I don't think Bojan's going to be coming back, because technically we could afford to bring back Hartenstein, OG, and Bojan, but James Dolan would have to pay for that. Will he pay for it? I'd hope so, because he's makes a lot of money, and the Knicks are playing the best basketball in over 2 decades. But even Bojan, like, I don't know. I like his shot creating ability, his shooting. He's not the best defender, but I absolutely would rather have Royce O'Neal, man. Like, Royce O'Neal would be a better fit for our roster, and he could be the difference between us winning and losing a championship. He has that type of impact. He's not a star, but if we can get him for minimum, or like, what is it called? The mid-level exception, I think is what it's called in the NBA. So that would be a big-time pickup. I want him for sure. Kyle Anderson's another guy that we could look at. In terms of the rest of the wings, that's pretty much it on my list. Like, Gordon Hayward, I don't really want him. Yeah, I definitely don't want Gordon Hayward, because he didn't even score like for the Thunder. So in the playoffs, like, why would we bring him in? And then that's it for the wings. In terms of guards, the number 1 guard on my list is going to be Tyus Jones. He just doesn't turn the ball over. He gets assists. I like Tyus Jones. I watched him a lot in Memphis the year, not last season, but the year before that, where John Morant missed a lot of time, and Tyus Jones came in and just led the Grizzlies. He's the type of player that he's going to know his role, and he's going to play it well. I'm not going to compare him to TJ McConnell, because he's a completely different player, but he could have like a sort of TJ McConnell type of impact for us off the bench. I would love to bring in Tyus Jones. Kyle Lowry's a guy that I think could be good for us. I mean, he is 38 years old, but he's won a championship, and he just gave us absolute hell in that Miami series. Kyle Lowry, I would love to add him in next to Miles McBride. Absolutely, Kyle Lowry. Maybe I can put Kyle Lowry at number 1, because he's won a championship. But yeah, I'll put him right next to, I guess, like Tyus Jones for now, and then Royce is the number 1. I think Derrick Jones Jr. is a guy that we could definitely benefit off of from his defense and his length. He's an improved shooter, but I don't think he's going to leave the Mavericks. That'd be kind of ridiculous for him to do that, so he probably ends up staying. But, Kyle Anderson is another guy that we could look at. He can do a little bit of everything. Kevon Looney and Jonas Valanciunas are guys that we could look to target if Hartenstein leaves. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm sort of banking on our guys staying. I don't know why anyone would want to leave outside of money, which is definitely fair, because imagine if you were working a job and you could make a lot more money elsewhere, you probably would do it. If Hartenstein does want to remain a Knick, the best we could do would be to give him a 1-year deal and then give him a massive contract next season, but I don't think he's going to take the risk. I think Hartenstein's probably going to end up leaving. I don't want him to leave, but obviously I'm a biased Knicks fan, so like I'm going to be like, oh, why would Hartenstein never leave here, man? I'm never going to be in a situation where he's going to be looking at 80 to 100 million a year annually. The most the Knicks have given is probably about 70 to 75 million. So OG is a guy that is a must re-sign no matter what it costs, even if we have to overpay. OG means too much to us with his defense and even his ability to give us 17 a night. Like, how often do you get a guy that can give you 17 a night but also play elite level defense? I mean, there isn't 10 better defenders, maybe 5 better defenders than OG in the league. His defense, even on Embiid, showed a lot. Embiid averaged over 30, but when OG was on him, You know, he made it difficult. I'll say that. How much time are we at? There's actually a lot of stuff I want to talk about. I'll save it for the next video because we're over 10 minutes into this point. But guys, smash the like button. I'm gonna be dropping out a lot more videos for you boys.